Hello, students, and I welcome each one of you in this new academic session of Standard 10th. And we are going to begin with a very thought provoking poem, which is from Unit 1, the very first poem, titled Where the Mind is Without Fear, and it is written by a very renowned poet, a novelist, a dramatist, Rabindranath Tagore. This poem has been taken from his collection, which was titled as Gitanjali. And if you are aware of it, Gitanjali was written in Bengali. All his poems were composed in Bengali. Later on, it was translated. This poem, Where the Mind is Without Fear, is in the form of a prayer to God to make India free. So it was a time Tagore wrote this poem in 1910, and if you have heard me correctly, 1910, it was a time when India was still not independent. We were under the British rule. So he wrote this very inspirational poem, a very thought-provoking poem for his countrymen and for all those freedom fighters who wanted a zeal to fight for their country. And this poem added that enthusiasm, that inspiration to fight. This poem also goes on to tell what kind of a society prevailed during that time. But the very sad thing is, when I say prevailed during that time, even after so many years of independence, there is not much change in our society. So the poem that was written in 1910 for those time is relevant, applicable even today. And why am I saying it's applicable? We will understand that as we do this poem. So I will be reading the poem in one go, and later on I will be explaining to you line after line. So let's pay attention to the poem. Where the mind is without fear and the head is held high, where knowledge is free, where the world has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic walls, where words come out from the depth of truth, where tireless striving stretches its arms towards perfection, where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way into the dreary desert sand of dead habit, where the mind is led forward by thee into ever widening thought and action, into that heaven of freedom, my Father, let my country away. Now let's do line after line and understand the poem in a better way. Where the mind is without fear and the head is held high, where knowledge is free, where the world has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic walls. In these four lines, Tagore is asking God to make his countrymen fearless, to have no fear, to have no fright, and to have an upright mind, to have a mind, a head which is held high, to have true pride, a head that doesn't bow before any dishonest or irrelevant things. This is what he is asking his countrymen to do, to be fearless and to have an upright mind, an upright head. And how can we have that? Only when knowledge is free. When every one of us gives importance to knowledge, gives importance to education, irrespective of whichever caste we belong to, whichever religion or culture we belong to, class we belong to, that is rich or poor, and whether we are boys or girls. Education should be for all, and that is what is happening today. RTE, or Right to Education, gives us the same message. And only then, when education becomes free, when knowledge becomes free, will our country be able to think in the right manner. Why? Because he says The world has been broken up into pieces, into fragments. And why is it broken up into fragments? Because somewhere we have kept our minds very narrow. We have enclosed our minds and hearts with walls. We have built walls. Domestic walls. Domestic walls within our own selves. We have built walls. And what are these walls of? Walls of superstitions, walls of orthodox beliefs, walls of rich and poor differences, walls of difference in caste and religion and culture. Until and unless we don't break down these walls, and this is not only in our country class, this is applicable to the entire world, because these differences are not seen over here but throughout the world. Even if you go to the Western countries, even if you go to the European countries, there is a disparity between the rich and the poor, between the high and the low class, between the blacks and the whites. So, until and unless these walls are not broken, we will never achieve freedom in the true sense. So, now you will understand, class, although Tagore wrote this poem when India was struggling for independence, he wanted a change in the society during that time, and sad enough, till date, we have not brought that change in the complete sense at all. Till today, we have differences. Till today, we still think about high and lower class and high and low caste. Till today, we give importance and we make differences between girls and boys. So it's a sorry state. Even after so many years, we have not realized the right things that will help us to progress, a country to progress, and the world to progress. So, somewhere Tagore's prayer has not been answered yet, or rather, I will say, has not been fulfilled yet. Where words come out from the depth of truth, where tireless striving stretches its arms towards perfection, where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way into the dreary desert sand of dead habit. Further, Tagore goes on to tell us that we should have a mind and heart which is truthful, a true mind and heart where we think logically, where we keep our minds and heart open, where we work hard. We should have arms which are tireless, striving, always trying to work hard for ourselves to progress, for the country to progress, and for the world to progress. Only then can we have perfection. Only then can we have a perfect world. We can't sit back and say, why should I do this? Or why should I think about it? Let somebody else do it. It will never happen. Each one of us has to work hard. Each one of us has to stand by the truth. Each one of us has to have an open mind and to allow the right things to sink into our heads. And therefore, he says, we have to have a reasoning ability to be as clear as a stream, to be as pure as the water. Therefore, how can this happen? Only when we think logically. Don't take anything as at a face value. Learn to question. Learn to find out whether what you are being told is right or wrong, whether these actions are right or whether they are wrong. Only then will we have a mind as clear as the water. And for that, we have to give up our dead habits. Once again, what are dead habits? Dead habits are the same thing: superstitions, orthodox beliefs, caste differences, class differences, and so on. And why? Because dead habits are like a desert where nothing grows. Similarly, when we have dead habits, we will never progress in life. Our country will never progress, our world will never progress. So, this is the message that Tagore gives. This is the prayer that he is making through this poem. Where the mind is led forward by thee into ever widening thought and action, into that heaven of freedom, my Father, let my country away. In the last three lines, he's appealing to God. He's calling God. And how do we know it? Because he's used the word thee. Thee is an old English word which you will find only used in poems. We otherwise don't use it. Thee means you, Y-O-U. And here you is nobody else but God Almighty. And what is he praying to God? He's asking God, please awaken my country. Please make my country out of the slumber that they have fallen into. In that deep sleep they have fallen into. And what is the deep sleep? The deep sleep of blind faith, of superstitious. The same thing, class, what I had told you, of orthodox belief, of caste differences. We are still sleeping. We are still hanging on to all these things. And therefore, he's praying to God, please allow my countrymen to have a wide way of thinking, a broader way of thinking, not only of thinking, but also putting forward that through action. It is useless, class, if we just preach and preach, that is just talk and don't put into action. Very important is what we say, we have to put that into action. Then only everybody progresses in life. And finally, he ends the poem by saying, let my country become free. Let me experience that freedom as heaven is. And he addresses God finally by calling him as Father. He says, my Father, let my country awake. So the central idea of this poem is we have to give up all the blind beliefs that we have. We have to break the walls of indifferences that we have created. Only then will we get freedom in the true sense. Today we say our country is free. But are we really free? Is the question that we have to ask ourselves. And therefore, I am saying it once again. Although this poem was written during the time when India was fighting for freedom, it is applicable even today. So let us think, class, have we really achieved freedom in the true sense? Let's introspect ourselves. So with this, I have completed explaining the poem. Now let us go to the language study of the poem. So let us mark the figures of speech. Now, if you have observed the poem when I was reading it, you must have realized there is no rhyme scheme. Neither are there rhyming words. So, in English, when there are no rhyme scheme or no rhyming words in a poem, it is called as a free verse or a blank verse. Please remember that. Free verse or a blank verse. So this poem has no rhyme scheme, no rhyming words. So we have only figures of speech. So let's mark it. See the first line. Where the mind is without fear and the head is held high. This is alliteration. ALLITERATION. Alliteration because you have the sound of alphabet H being repeated thrice. Come to the third line, where the world has been broken up into fragments. This is hyperbole or hyperbole as you pronounce, HYPERBOLE. Why is it a hyperbole? Because it's an over exaggerated statement. Reason? Because we all know the world is not literally broken up into pieces. I have not taken, we cannot take different parts and break up and separate them. The world is at a larger together. You have seen the geography, physical map of the world. But in the poetic sense, it is used that the world has been separated into fragments because of the differences. So therefore it is an over exaggerated statement. So you just have to write over exaggerated statement in hyperbole. Next, come a little lower down, where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way. This is a metaphor because reasoning, good reasoning, is compared to clear stream. Similarly, the next line, into the dreary desert sand of dead habit. This is also a metaphor because over here, dead habits have been compared to a desert. This also can be an alliteration since you have the sound of alphabet D repeated thrice. So in the exam, remember one thing, if you have been asked about a particular line, figure of speech, and if there are two answers for it, you may write two, it's fine, or even you can write any one of it, the marks will be the same. You will be given full 1 mark for it. Next, let us come down into ever widening thought and action. This is an antithesis, Antithesiis. Antithesis because we have two opposite words in the same line. Thought, action. These are two opposite words. Thought, when you think from your mind, action, when you actually put it through your actions. So, two opposite words. And finally, the last line, into that heaven of freedom, my Father, let my country away. This is a synecdoche. Synecdoche. Synecdoche, reason is because over here the word country represents people. So when we are talking, so one word is used to signify people at large. Therefore, it is called a synecdoche, a part used to describe the whole. So you have to say country has been used to describe its people. So it is a synecdoche. So with this class, the poetic language study is also done. We come to the end of the poem. In case you haven't understood something, you can always WhatsApp me on my personal WhatsApp, send me a message, or you can call me up anytime. But clear your doubts. Since you are in standard 10th, it's very important that you understand everything very clearly before you proceed to the next. The next session when I meet you, the next day, we will continue with this poem with our English workshop, and with whatever else I have to teach you, I will do that in the next session. So thank you, class. I hope you enjoyed the poem. Have a nice day. God bless you all. Meet you tomorrow.